Yeah, my tongue is talking to my brain right now saying, what are you doing to me? I'm feeling the tears.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? For First We Feast, I'm Sean Evans, and you're watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter wings. And today we're joined by Austin Butler. He's a Golden Globe Award-winning actor and up for an Oscar in this year's Best Actor category for his performance as Elvis in the acclaimed Baz Luhrmann-directed biopic. You can also catch him in the war drama miniseries Masters of the Air, coming soon to Apple Plus, as well as the highly anticipated Dune sequel due out later this year. Austin Butler, welcome to the show.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
Well, that's lovely to hear. How are you around spicy food, and what's going through your head as you prepare to take on the gauntlet?
Well, I mean, as we were just talking about it, I'm like a Cholula sort of sriracha guy usually, but as you said, after today, all bets are off. Who knows? Okay, classic chili maple. That's lovely. It's just how all the interviews start, though. I always see that. Oh, that's really lovely. That's not bad. Just a very mild spice.
So for more casual observers of Elvis, I think it's surprising to learn how robust his film career actually was, with more than 30 titles to his name. As an actor, what do you see in Elvis's filmography?
Well, it's interesting because the films that he did before he went to the Army, I mean, especially the last one, King Creole, was directed by Michael Curtiz, who directed Casablanca. When you see Elvis's performance in that, I think it shows so much promise. And then he got back from 2 years away. He wanted to come back and be a serious actor and not sing in all his films, but then they didn't make money. And so people around him, the Colonel and other people say, audiences don't want to see a movie where you don't sing. And if you want to have a career, you gotta do this. And it breaks my heart because it wasn't really, I think, what he wanted to do, but then he ends up getting caught in that whirlwind and sort of the promise that one day I'll get to that point, So it makes me sad that Elvis never got that chance to really train to the point that he could excel in the way that I know that he wanted to. There's this book called Being Elvis, A Lonely Life, where they tell the story about how that was his deep regret, was that he never made a classic film. And he really believed at that point that he would be forgotten after he died, which is just so sad and mind-blowing to me.
Insane.
Because he felt like music would come and go, but that a film would last forever in some way. And I wish he was here today to see all the people around the world who just adore him so much. Shaquanda's Banji Ranch. All right. This ranch is always a nice thing to dip a hot wing in.
Right.
So
and then here they are,
cool
just combining sort. Yeah, There we go.
Nice.
2 for 2. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, you start me slow, make me feel confident, and then sucker punch me at the end, I'm sure.
And then I read that Tom Hanks gifted you a chrome typewriter, and the two of you began an immediate pen-pal relationship in character as Elvis and the Colonel. Yeah. How did that serve as an effective character development exercise for you?
It was a way that I'd never even thought of rehearsing before. I'd heard the sort of apocryphal thing that Tom gives typewriters away. And when he got to Australia, this chrome typewriter shows up at my door, and we were staying in the same apartment complex, and he was a couple floors above me, and he wrote one letter from Tom Hanks, and then another from Colonel Tom Parker, and so in that one he'd say, my boy, I watched your new film, and this is what I think of this, and when you're typing it, and especially on a typewriter where you can't edit as much, you really have to think about, is this what that person believes? And so then I would end up saying, I just got back from Hawaii and Priscilla and I did this. And suddenly now it was expanding the memories that I was now having as Elvis and then allowed me to put it down on paper in that way. And it was a really cool way of rehearsing. Donas Cadeo. That's really nice. How far did you get in that wing?
You know, I kind of...
Oh, you devoured that.
I
Good
know.
job.
You know, it's kind of on accident. You know, sometimes it falls off the bone.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to push the pace or anything, Austin.
No. I saw Brolin was throwing them away and something, keeping his plate so
Oh,
clean.
yeah. You know what? There's a garbage can over there. There's a little...
I don't need it. We'll leave them here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little hoop action
graveyard.
over here. Yeah.
In front of us.
So it's impressive to learn that your acting coach, Larry Moss, has worked with everyone from you to Helen Hunt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching films, can you tell how an actor is trained, or is the whole point that you can't really see any technique?
Hey, these are such good questions. One thing that I love is when it feels like close-up magic. Like Sam Rockwell is a good example. He's so amazing with physical life. It's because he came from Meisner training. For me, what I also find is that with most actors and most of the great actors that I've worked with, they're pulling from so many things. So it's not like there's just one technique or something. It's you kind of just find what
Right.
works
It's not
for
like,
you.
oh, I'm an Adler person, or I'm a Meisner person, or I'm a Stanislavski person, or whatever.
Exactly.
What about Uta Hagen? Did the Uta Hagen method ever do anything for you? You know,
Absolutely.
that's not a name that gets name checked as much as Meisner and
Yeah.
Stanislavski.
I
You
love
know?
that you mentioned that. Yeah, Uta Hagen was certain acting teachers. It's almost like they're talking down to their students. But Uta she never seemed to be that way. She was like a working actor who had been trying things for a long time, trying to figure things out, pulled from many different styles and teaching techniques and that sort of thing, and brought together different exercises. And she's amazing. I love that you bring her up. Most people don't. That's really, thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, you know what? I have plenty of time to knock this thing off the tracks. Are you ready to move on here?
So do I. Yeah.
Are you ready to move on here to sauce number 4? Yeah. This is the Los Calientes.
Los
Verde.
Calientes. All right, verde. All right, Los Calientes. That's tasty.
So to kind of piggyback on the conversation we were just having, I know that your acting journey began with you and your mom taking the long trips from Orange County to Los Angeles so that you could take acting classes. Thinking back on that time, is there an acting exercise that you found to be most useful? Maybe something that you learned back then and still use to this day. And then can you give us another one that stands out in your mind for just being ridiculous?
Yeah. As far as what was very useful was I did this class. It was a class where you sit sort of Meisner-y base, where you come to class, they give you a scene that's a couple pages long, you read it once, and then you put it under your chair. And then you get up in front of the class and you have a partner who has the same scene, and you sit down, and they've got 2 cameras on you, so there's a close-up on each of you. The camera's on a close-up so it can tell when you're lying. And the teacher's there watching the monitor, and he would say, what are they feeling, the other person? Happy, sad, fear, anger, love. And then you go, okay, love. So how do you respond to that? Because sometimes they'd be angry, and there would be a line that you wouldn't expect to be an angry line, but that person had something go on in that day that, you know, they got cut off in traffic or something, they brought that into class. And so you got to respond to that and not just come up with the idea that you're having. So that taught me a lot about how there's so many different ways that a scene can be played. There's really unexpected things that can happen, and really listen. But the ridiculous things, I mean, were like, pretend you're a chicken and you're like clucking around the room and that sort of thing, you know. A lot of those are ridiculous. I heard a great story about Brando. It was in an acting class, and I hope that this story is true, that they said to the whole class, pretend you're chickens, and there's a nuclear bomb that's about to hit. And all the other chickens in the class, they go, wah, 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 and they're running around, freaking out, and Brando was just sitting there, just pecking at the ground. And the teacher goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said that there's a bomb about to hit, and he goes, I'm a chicken, I don't know what a bomb is. So, yeah, I like that one.
Well, speaking of nuclear chicken, are you ready to move on here to the halfway point?
I always like the compilation of just people's reaction to every wing. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm feeling that a little bit. What does it say? Pizza, taco? curry,
Yeah, it's kind of got like...
samosas. Does that mean that these are the notes in it, or is this Bloody Mary? Does that mean you can put this in a Bloody Mary?
Yeah, that means let it rip on a Bloody Mary. But it's like got a kind of like a spicy curry vibe, this one, I feel like.
Yeah, I actually really like that. That's cool.
There we go. There we go.
Nice, man.
Is it true that Quentin Tarantino will oftentimes request another take, even if he has everything that he needs, just because making movies kicks ass?
Yeah. There's two things I can say. I don't want to speak out of school, but one thing, it's really awesome when you're on set. The first time that I heard this, it was just so cool because I mean I've talked a lot about how much Quentin meant to me, and it was just always my dream to work with him. But we're on set. And he says, okay, we got it. We're gonna do one more. You know why? And the entire crew screams, because we love making movies. And the first time you're there, you kind of going, oh, you're not in on it. And so Brad and Leo, everybody's like, because we love making movies, which is, there are sets that are so sterile. There are sets where there's no joy. There are sets where people are like just at a job. And you're trying to like create something that you're gonna give to the world, you know? And with Quentin, that was so cool because it just changes the atoms in the room. And then the next time that we love making movies happens, now you're in on it.
Yeah.
And then so every new crew member or actor, whoever, then suddenly they're a part of the tribe at that point saying we love making movies. Torchbearer Mushroom Mayhem. Oh, yeah.
Catching straight mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
Straight shroom off the top.
Yeah. Are we going to start hallucinating stuff?
Yeah. God willing. Hopefully it goes there, you know?
Yeah. See where you go, man.
So I've heard you describe working on The Iceman Cometh on Broadway as a true artistic breakthrough moment for you. Can you break down this quote of yours? You are the editor when you're on stage.
I mean, we were doing The Iceman Cometh, which is quite a dark play. Some nights the audience treated it like it was a comedy. The next night they would treat it like it was you could hear a pin drop in the room. And they sort of take on this collective mind. And so I had an older actor tell me, like, stand behind the curtain and feel the energy of the audience before you walk out. And so I would do that every night. I had this little ritual that I would do, but one of the last things I would do before I went up to the dressing room was sort of just, you hear the chatter of the audience and you feel how they're all sort of like unifying in that moment. But then you're on stage, and the times that I felt it, it was such an amazing feeling to feel the audience in the palm of your hand, where they're hanging on every word that you're saying. And you know that you could pause, and sometimes I would hold the pause even a little longer. And then when you finally speak, it has a little bit more power. I saw Denzel do it, you know, I mean, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Was some of the most brilliant acting I'd ever laid eyes on. He knew it, the audience knew it, the other actors knew it. And you'd expect when somebody's done something brilliant that they would go, okay, I'm gonna do that again tomorrow. And he wouldn't. Sometimes he'd never do it again. But it was just new life every night. It was that complete presence. So it's that thing of like, there's no one perfect way to do a scene, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the editing thing. All right, so these last four, this is where it kicks up a notch, I hear. Cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go. We should do this all the time. This is great, man. This is
You're
your
welcome
life.
back anytime.
Thank you.
Austin, all right?
Oh, yeah, good. Oh.
Now this one I think starts off kind of nice, but then it has that like tail on it that
feel
starts
that,
to
yeah.
kick in. Yeah, right. A little time release.
Sort of like this time release fire that's working its way over my tongue right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, you bite into it, you think you're good. You're like, that's not so bad up front.
Yeah, a little calypso off the tip. Yeah. Yeah.
Calypso off the tip and then just spice off the rip, you know?
Spice off the rip.
Spice off the
Yeah, that's
rip.
their new tagline. Yeah. Super hot Caribbean style. Yeah, I feel yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, nose starts to run, and yeah.
We're in it.
Yeah, I feel it swirling around in my mouth now.
So unlike Elvis, you didn't by happenstance have 3 years for the physical transformation that you're taking on in the upcoming Dune project. In your months of Navy SEAL-like training, did you walk away with that with a more creative or exciting way to do cardio?
Yeah, basically, I mean, he basically just worked me until I would throw up every time. I found him because he's this sort of legend that he was a Navy SEAL and then he started he trained Brad Pitt for Troy, and he's a legend and he's just the nicest guy as well. But he also doesn't really like count reps. He just goes, go for it. And you're just going and you're like, how many of these am I gonna do? And once you get to the point where you're dying and you can hardly do another, he goes, all right, do 10 more. And that sort of thing. And so, and because he's so tough, you don't want to let him down, you know?
Right.
And so it's having a guy like that around just going, keep going. And you're just pushing your body to the absolute limit of what it can do. He says, don't even look in the mirror. Don't look at the scale. Like, look at how strong you are. And that was really cool.
All right, well, speaking of
strong, let's see.
How strong we are.
Yeah, sip of water.
This next one is The Bomb Beyond Insanity.
Oh, yeah.
It is a sauce with a reputation that precedes
Yeah, I've heard about this one. Yeah, so this is a real cheers.
This is a real cheers. Yeah.
This is, that's not the last dab. The last dab is the last dab. All right.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Yeah, immediately. My tongue is talking to my brain right now saying, what are you doing to me? I'm feeling the tears. Yeah.
What are the qualities that you look for in a restaurant when you're thinking about becoming a regular? You know, I've heard you talk about how restaurants become like second homes to you when you're in filming locations all over the world.
This is where it happens, exactly. All right. Being a regular, what other, all right. I look for a kind staff. I look for delicious coffee. I look for great food. Something in a close proximity to where I live. So they get hotter than this? That's crazy. Whew.
Peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwiches, overrated or underrated?
I'm going for the oat milk. Let's see what this is like.
I'll join you at the party.
It gives like a temporary relief.
Mm-hmm.
And then are you on oat milk as well, or are you?
Yeah, I'm going right with you.
I like that. You're a kind gentleman.
Right with you.
What was the question?
Peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwiches, overrated or underrated?
I mean, it depends who you ask. I think they're underrated because they're like thought of as some joke or something like that to certain people, but they're really delicious. Big fan of any peanut butter sandwich in general. Like peanut butter and jelly is one of my favorite things in the world. It's funny how certain people, especially in other countries, they'll think that you're crazy for liking it. They go, I don't understand. Like, I had a French person the other day say, I do not understand this peanut butter and jelly. And, it's like the comfort food for me, you know?
This next one is taco vibes only.
We were going right into the next one?
In the ninth spot. If you're ready, Austin.
This is where you start breaking down the defenses right through the armor.
It's an onslaught.
This is taco vibes only.
Taco vibes only.
This is extreme burn danger today. Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay.
So you grew up in Anaheim, California, almost midway between Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm, which sounds like a childhood's dream fulfilled.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, what's the GOAT amusement park attraction for you?
Ooh, wow, great question. It's a roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm. You start out fast. It's called like Extreme or something. You shoot and you go up and over and down, and then you do loops and different things. I rode that with my mom when it first opened, and we got to the end of the ride, and our hair is just like, you just went through the whole wind tunnel, and we looked at each other and she goes, "You want to do it again?" I was like, "Yeah." And so we went, and at that point, I mean, you go to the end of the line. We didn't have fast passes or anything, and you make your way through the line again. We wrote it again. I think we did it like 3 or 4 times in a row. So we really liked that one. Yeah.
All right, Austin.
All right. Here we go, my man. Oh, I'm not gonna chicken out now. All right. Is that enough of a dab, right?
That's enough of a dab right there.
All right. Cheers, my brother.
What a ride. What a ride.
This has been really fun. Yeah.
Going in.
I'm going on that one.
And with that bite, Austin Butler, we have climbed to the top of Scoville Mountain, the top of Spice Mountain. We've reached it. And I know it's been a trying and challenging journey, which is why we want to return it to a happy place. You know, I know no matter how crazy your life gets, there's always something there for you, always something you can count on. And that is the iconic peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
So what we have here is a full mise en place.
No way.
Okay.
Are you serious? You planning this ahead of time?
And I'm just curious
so
how
thoughtful.
you make your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know, we have some different options here.
Wow.
I'm curious about your build, the order of elements,
I'll talk you through this.
your ratio. Yeah, take this one away, Austin.
Yeah.
Take
Is
one away.
this so I make one for you at the same time?
You know,
We're mirroring each other the whole time, so I'll do the same.
okay, there we go.
This is great. I'm gonna wait for just 1 second so I don't drip on your sandwich. All right. So I'll talk you through some things. I'm a smooth peanut butter guy,
There we go.
so that's what I'm gonna start with. Some people only peanut butter one side of the bread, but then the jam soaks into the bread. Certain people like that. I prefer when it's contained. So you sort of like, you bring the peanut butter on both sides and then it kind of locks in the jam. I was the only kid in the elementary school who got this letter that allowed me to, every lunch, walk home and eat lunch with my mom, and she'd have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich waiting for me. And we'd watch some design show. Like, there's this one called Surprised by Design, where you would make like brick pathways in their backyard and different things, and then we would go, let's go do that. And so we'd buy bricks and try to make a brick pathway in the backyard. So that was, I have very fond memories of grape jam because of that. All right, so don't be bashful with the peanut butter. I know I'm gonna have peanut butter and jelly aficionados out there.
Coming at you?
Yeah,
Coming for you?
Yeah, but you know what? I'll take it. This is my technique. Mouth is still just burning. It's amazing. All right, I haven't done this with this is animalistic. All right, this is gonna make a sound. I'm gonna try. Ooh, look at that. I've never done that.
Do you like it?
It's kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, looks like we have a
This is gonna be my new
here.
therapy. It's like, you know, after a long day, just spreading grape jelly like this. It's really wild. It like sends it in a sheet. It's amazing how they designed that. I feel like Bob Ross.
Well, it does look like an artist at work over here, I gotta say.
Yeah, just a sniffling Bob Ross. Making a sandwich for my friend Sean. This is getting ridiculous, guys. All right, and we did the white bread. Like, I've been on more of a wheat bread thing, but this is old school right now. All right.
And under these circumstances, thank you so much, Austin.
We got through it together.
We got through it together.
I feel so safe with you.
And you gave me a sandwich, a delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We'll see.
And it's
how
really
it is.
nice to actually wash down with some oat milk. How is that? Is that okay? Is it
Under
enough?
these circumstances,
Yeah.
it's one of the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches I've ever had in my life.
Oh, it's good.
No, the way it kind of just kills that hot sauce gauntlet.
That's perfect.
So perfect. So perfect. And look at you, Austin Butler, taking on the wings of death, making us a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to call credits. And now there's nothing left to do but roll out the red carpet for you.
There you go.
This camera, this camera, this camera. Let the people know what you have going on in your life.
What do I have going on in my life? Right now, My mouth is completely numb, and I've made a new friend that I hope stays in my life for a long time. Eating wonderful peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind lately, so I look forward to, many more fun times ahead, and then a vacation. Yeah. We survived it. I'm actually gonna dig in on this a little bit more.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Dude, that's childhood right there.
Mm-hmm. And it's sneaky, like, really good against the spice.
It's actually like people gotta do this when they come on.
It has to be part of the recovery.
Yeah. You just have a peanut butter and jelly waiting for people in their green room afterward. That's great. The peanut butter really cuts through it.
Mm-hmm.
This conversation was so wonderful, so thank you, man.
Well,
Truly.
thank you. Hot Ones fans, exciting news. The Season 20 Hot Ones 10-pack is now available. If you've ever watched from home and wondered to yourself, like, how hot are the wings really? Or been one of those people that's like, oh, they're only taking one bite. Well, you know what? If you think you can do better, now is the time to put your money where your mouth is, literally, with the Hot Ones Season 20 10-pack available exclusively at heatness.com. That's heatness.com, heatness.com, heatness.com to get your hands on the Season 20 Hot Ones 10-pack. Get them while they're hot.